Welcome. This video will demonstrate how to model the engineer's vice, which is part of the Higher Graphic Communication CAD challenges. We'll start with modelling the horseshoe shape. To begin with, start a new file. We then want to draw a new sketch on a vertical work plane. In the centre, we want to draw two circles, one with the diameter of 62mm and one with the diameter of 50mm. Now we only need the top half of the circles, so we can draw two lines, which we can use to trim the shapes, leaving two semicircles. We then want to draw the bottom part of the shape. To do this, we need to draw a line 38 millimeters down. Just going to zoom out so we can see the shape. We want to draw a line 12 across and 15 up. The last two lines, we don't know their sizes, but we can finish the shape by drawing two lines like this and then trimming the overlapping lines. We can then add some chamfers in place. The chamfers, I'm going to guess, is 1mm, even though it doesn't tell us. And we select both lines that we want to add the chamfer on. And we then draw the other side exactly the same way as we've just done the first, but it's the mirror version. Now we're not going to draw this top area here, as this will need to be in a separate step. To make the shape 3D, we need to extrude it by 12mm. To do the top part, we need to add a new work plane. We want to select the plane icon at the top and choose Offset from a plane. You then need to choose a work plane parallel to where you want the new work plane to go, and insert offset size of 32mm. We then draw on this work plane. Use project geometry to select the sides. This allows the line tool to snap to the centre and draw a line down the middle. Select the circle tool and draw in the middle of the line a circle of diameter 12. We can then extrude that circle inwards to create the shape. Doesn't need to be a big size. Something like 2mm will be fine. We can then hide that work plane by right clicking on the work plane in the modelling tree and click on the visibility tick. Last of all, we need to make the hole on the top. To make the hole, we want to do a new sketch on the top surface. Draw a circle of diameter 8. And we can then extrude that circle downwards, subtract the material, just make sure it's big enough to go through to create the hole. There we are, we've completed that piece. Remember to save your work carefully at this stage. The next part is a T-bar, which is a cylinder shape. Start the sketch on the top work plane and draw a circle in the centre with a diameter of 12. We then want to extrude that circle downwards. So I'm going to select extrude and the circle. And we'll extrude it by 15. We can then start a new sketch on the bottom of that cylinder. Just going to zoom out so I can see a bit clearer. And we want to draw a circle that's a diameter of 8. Again, we can then extrude that circle. And this time we're going to extrude it by 62mm. Now for the last part, we want to repeat what we've just done. Again, we want to draw a circle on the bottom. The circle is a diameter of 6. And we want to extrude that by 3mm to create the shape. We can add a chamfers. We're going to keep the chamfers as 1mm, like in the first model, or first part of the model. To do the hole at the top, we want to start a new sketch on one of the center work planes. I'll do it on this one. Use project geometry to select the sides. This will allow you to draw lines from the centers to find the middle. To see things clearly, select View, then Slice Graphics. You can then draw a diameter 6 circle in the center. To form the hole, select Extrude and then the circle, choosing the symmetrical option. Type in a size and subtract material. This will create the hole. However, as this is a Tbar, we can add material to make a handle. Again, save your model as something sensible. Make sure all model parts are saved in the same folder. The third component part is the V-shaped block. Start a new sketch on the vertical work plane. As the shape is symmetrical, I'm going to draw half the shape and then use the mirror tool. Draw a line 25mm long to begin with, then 12 up, 6 in towards the right, 15 up, 6mm to the left, 20 up, and then 7.5mm to the right. Now you need to look carefully for these sizes and look at all 3 views. To do the angled line, you need to work out the angle. It only gives you the 90-degree detail on the drawing. Make sure the line is long enough, then press the Tab key. This allows you to input the angle size of 135 degrees. You can then draw a line down the centre, which will be helpful for using the mirror tool. We then want to select the mirror tool. The first option, or the first thing they want us to do, is select the lines we want to mirror. So choose those lines. We can then select the mirror line option and select the centre line. If you click apply, you'll be able to mirror it across. Now we're going to use the middle line with the offset tool to get the last bits of detail in the model. So we want to offset these sizes by 1.5mm each side, as the gap in the centre is 3. We can then trim off the lines of the model that we don't need. Remember to zoom in to make it easier. And last of all, I'm going to draw a line horizontal across from this point, because that's how far down that little indent goes there, and then trim off the last parts of the model. And I'm just going to delete this middle line as well. To make the object 3D, I'm going to extrude it by 50mm. That's our third component part. Again, remember to save the model as something sensible in the same folders as you've used previously. It is now time to assemble the 3 pieces. Click on New, select Metric, and we're going to put them together in an assembly file. So we're going to select standard millimeters, it's a blue and yellow icon, and click Create. To put the first part in, we're going to click on Place and choose the V-shaped block. When it comes in, right click and go place grounded at origin. It wants to put more parts in, so click the escape button to deselect that. We can then put the second part in. We're going to use the horseshoe shape this time. Again, place it and then hit the escape button. To put it in, what we're going to do is we're going to use the constraints tool. The constraints tool stops things moving, and we're going to stop it moving left and right, up and down, and backwards and forwards. Select the surfaces that you want to touch together. So we're going to select these two here. And options are, I've got mate or align, which is known as flush in software. I want the mate though, because I want the surfaces to touch. Now just rotate it around. As you'll see here, the surfaces are touching, but I can still move it left and right and upwards and downwards. What I want to do is I want to stop it moving completely. So I need to constrain it in another 2 directions. This time I'm going to select these 2 surfaces. I'm going to make them once more. And this time you'll see that it's no longer moving up and down, but it can still move backwards and forwards. So I can put 1/3 constraint on. This time I'm going to select the front edge of both. If I select the align button, which is known as flush in this, I can offset that, which means move it back by 19mm. In this case, it'll make it go in the center. And what I've done is I've fully constrained that part, it'll no longer move. I can now do the third part, which is a T-shaped bar, the Tbar. This one here is slightly different as it's a cylinder shape. So I'm going to place it just above and hit the escape button. When I constrain it this time, I'm going to do something called center axis, which means I'm going to select the center of this cylinder, the center of the hole, and it joins up the centers. This means that it can't go left to right or backwards and forwards. It can still go up and down the way though, because the centers are joined up. What I now need to do is I now need to make it go and look right for the model. So I'm going to constrain the shape once more. I'm looking for 2 flat surfaces, so I'm going to select the underneath of this part and the top of this piece here. I've got mate selected, so it puts them together, but I need to bring it up slightly, so I'm going to offset it up. Again, you can make this any size you like, just to give the right look. And there we go. Now we can add some materials at this stage, just like we've done in previous models. Click on Tools and then Appearance. When the model library pops up, apply materials like you've done before. We then want to render this, and we're going to select on View to render this and do the top section here. So we're going to select Visual Style and click Realistic. We then want to make sure we turn on the shadows and reflections. 2 lights I've got selected as well. Make it perspective. At this stage here, I kind of want to adjust it so I get a nice angle on the object. Get an interesting looking angle. And then to make a picture, I'm going to click on Ray Tracing. Down the bottom corner, a pop-up window will appear. Draft quality is good enough for what we need, and we're going to let the ray tracing slider go along to the very end. Once it's at the very end, we can then click on the Save button, just here. We're going to save it as a TIFF because it's the best quality, and you can choose where to save it and call it something sensible. Anyway, thank you for watching.